Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're doing more than just sharing a few learning hacks. We are going to architect a personal learning machine, literally from the ground up. This is a complete, evidence-based blueprint for mastering anything faster. But first, let me ask you something. Just think about the last nonfiction book you read, or maybe an online course you took. How much of it can you genuinely recall right now? It's a super frustrating and totally universal feeling, right? We put in all this time and effort, and the knowledge just evaporates. Well, that is the exact problem we're here to solve today. So meet our primary target, the main villain of our story, the Ebbinghaus Forgetting Curve. It's a principle from way back in the 19th century, and it shows pretty brutally how our memory for new information just drops off a cliff almost as soon as we learn it. Any effective learning system has to start by declaring all-out war on this curve. Part 1, the unbreakable foundation. So let's get to building. First up, we're constructing the chassis and the engine of our learning machine, the core systems for power and memory. So how do we fight that forgetting curve? We start by swapping out one of our worst habits, cramming, for our first major weapon, spaced repetition. Instead of just hammering away at something all at once, you strategically review it at longer and longer intervals, right at the moment you're about to forget it. Each time you do that, it's like you're tapping your brain on the shoulder saying, hey, pay attention, this is important. And that's what locks it into long-term memory. But look, when you review is only half the battle. How you review is absolutely crucial. Simply rereading your notes is a trap. It creates this dangerous illusion of fluency, where something feels familiar, but you can't actually recall it from scratch. The real workout is active recall. This is where you force your brain to pull the information out without looking. Basically, you quiz yourself. That struggle is what forges a strong, lasting memory. Now for the engine itself, motivation. You know, most of us start learning by asking, what do I need to do? It makes the whole thing feel like a chore. The most effective learners, though, they flip the script. They always start with why. Asking, why does mastering this matter to me, transforms a boring task into a compelling mission. And that why is the high-octane fuel you'll need when the going gets tough. And we can't forget a key ingredient for that fuel, fun. Seriously. When we're actually enjoying the learning process, our brains release dopamine, which literally primes us to learn more effectively. I mean, think about this. Studies show that happy employees are 12% more productive. If enjoying your work makes you better at it, imagine what enjoying your learning can do. It's not frivolous. It's a real strategic advantage. Part 2, the active learning toolkit. Okay, our foundation is solid. Now it's time to build the assembly line, the part of the machine where we actively deconstruct ideas and build new skills. And our main deconstruction tool is the brilliant Feynman Technique. It's so simple but so powerful. You just take a concept and try to explain it in the simplest possible terms. Now, here's the magic. The exact spots where you get stuck or where you have to use jargon, that's pure gold. It's your brain literally highlighting a map to your own ignorance, showing you exactly what to study next. Okay, now for the building phase. Let's get one thing straight. Not all practice is created equal. Mindless repetition is just going through the motions, practicing what you already know how to do. Deliberate practice is the complete opposite. It's about systematically pushing yourself to the very edge of your abilities with total focus. And this is the critical part, getting immediate feedback on how you're doing. It's not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to make you better. For any practical skill, deliberate practice looks like this beautiful, elegant loop. Build, fail, repeat. You apply your knowledge to build something tangible. It inevitably breaks or doesn't work right. And that failure, it's not a judgment on you. It's just data. It's an objective signal showing you precisely what you need to work on. So you analyze it, make an adjustment, and you build again. Every single loop makes you measurably better. Part 3, the power of failure. Okay, to make that build, fail, repeat cycle really work, we need to install the right software, the right operating system in our minds, one that is designed to turn failure into fuel. And the best model for this, by far, comes from the airline industry. It's a culture called Blackbox Thinking. After any incident, big or small, the #1 goal is never to assign blame. It's to meticulously analyze what went wrong, to improve the entire system so it never happens again. We can adopt that exact same mindset for ourselves, treating every single mistake as an unmissable opportunity to upgrade our own learning system. But to actually use that black box thinking, you first need a growth mindset. It's the psychological prerequisite. See, if you have a fixed mindset, failure feels personal. It feels like a verdict on your abilities. But when you operate from a growth mindset, failure is just information. It's an expected, natural part of the process, and it becomes the very springboard for improvement. It lets you get curious about your mistakes instead of being afraid of them.
Part 4, the Metalearning Flywheel. All right, we have all the individual parts. We've built the engine, gathered the tools, and installed the operating system. Now let's put it all together and fire this machine up.
And here's maybe the most important idea of all. This system isn't a simple checklist of tips. You have to think of it like a heavy flywheel. At first, it's really hard to get it moving, right? It takes a massive effort. But every single technique we've talked about, spaced repetition, the Feynman technique, deliberate practice, is another hard push on that wheel. Each one adds to its momentum until eventually the whole system starts to spin faster and faster with less and less effort. And here is the entire system in motion. It's a 5-phase cycle. You start by orienting yourself with your deep why. That purpose fuels you to deconstruct the skill into manageable pieces. Then you learn those pieces and immediately apply them in the real world. That application will lead to failures, which you then analyze with your black box mindset. And here's the magic. The insights you get from analyzing your mistakes feed directly back into the start of the loop, giving that flywheel another powerful push. Of course, this flywheel isn't a rigid, one-size-fits-all formula. You adapt it. For example, if you're learning to code, you are going to live in that apply and iterate phase. If you're tackling a creative skill like writing, your why and getting expert feedback become absolutely critical. And for purely conceptual knowledge like philosophy, the Feynman technique is going to be your best friend. The framework is universal, but you get to decide where to put the emphasis. So there you have it. We've laid out the complete architectural blueprint for a powerful, personal learning machine. The only real question left is the one you see right here. What will you choose to build first? Because the whole point of this explainer wasn't for you to just learn about this system, but to go out and start using it.